So much for Ganabelt. Good riddance.
You said it.
So, was the Lord of Calaglia like Ganabelt too?
No. Balsef was huge, a real tough guy act. Now that I think of it, his crest was different too. His was a flaming cross.
Ah, I see. Anyway, what do you guys plan on doing from here?
We keep moving. 3 Renan Lords remain, and we won't rest until their thrones are empty as well. That work for you, Xian?
That was my endgame from the beginning.
Hey, so, if it's not too much trouble, could I maybe come along?
Isn't Cyslodia your home?
I mean, yes, but it's just, now that everyone knows what I've been hiding, well, it might be best to get as far away as I can until it all quiets down. Is that okay? I promise I'll pull my own weight.
Sure. You're welcome to join us.
Taking off, huh?
Yeah. Thanks for everything.
It's too bad. I wish there was more we could do to pay you back for all you've done. I'll see to it personally that Zephyr's remains reach Calaglia safely.
What's next for Cyslodia?
I honestly couldn't tell you. The enemy infiltrated its way right to our core as a people. Only time will tell if we can rise above our suspicions and come together.
Zephyr once told me that so long as you don't give up, there's no wall that can't be torn down.
Sounds about right. And thanks to you, the greatest obstacle that was in our way is now gone. I suppose the rest of it will be up to us.
I look forward to seeing how far you'll go.
Oh, I almost forgot. Before you head off, there's something I wanted to give you.
Wow, look at you. You scrub up real nice.
It was a parting gift.
It's like speaking to one of the old Dahnan heroes from legend.
Where to next, then?
Elde Menancia. You're really going to travel in that thing?
Why not? It's not as heavy as it looks. Actually, there's someone I was hoping we could invite along with us.
You can't be serious.
Got someplace to be?
Not really. I mean, I can't stay here, of course. Then again, there's no one waiting for me back in Calaglia either. Plenty of ditches along the road. Maybe I'll find one to die in.
How about a fresh start?
After the kinds of things I've done, I don't know where I'd even begin.
Your father said that as long as you face the past, there's hope.
I think it might be a little late for that.
He also said he'd fought and lost all his life, but didn't regret it in the slightest. It's only over when you give up. Keep fighting, and even that wall inside you can be brought down. Don't you want to see what your dad saw on the other side of that wall? What he was fighting for?
Do you think I'm even worthy to?
That's for you to decide.
I'm sick of losing everything I love, of running from life. Maybe all that's left is to just turn around and face it. Count me in.
Finally. I thought you'd never finish. We've still got a ways to go.
Here we go, Hoodle.
This armor was a gift from Brengen. What if it really did belong to a Dahnan hero once upon a time? He challenged an overwhelming...
Yeah!
Hey.
Thanks for letting me stick around, you guys.
Sure, we're happy to have you.
Hey, did you make off with that armor while none of us were looking? Because I've gotta admit, you look pretty snazzy in it.
He didn't steal it, if that's what you mean. Brengen gave it to him as a parting gift.
Ah, right. Although it makes sense, I guess. It's like a symbol of rebellion in its own way.
Which is why it should have been your father wearing this, not me.
I don't know. I don't think he could have pulled it off like you, man.
I wonder what the last wearer of this armor was dreaming of for Cyslodia when they decided to rise up and fight.
Who knows? Anyone who could have answered that is long gone. Truth is always lost with the departed.
Are you saying there's no point in trying to understand why they gave up their lives?
No, only that it's impossible to know for sure. Look, I can tell that you're concerned about Cyslodia's future, but we do have other things to take care of. You can't shoulder all of the world's problems, Alphen. If you try to, you'll only find yourself buried by the weight of it all.
Yeah, I know. My path is forward, and I'll do what I can, here and now.
You were born in Calaglia, right, Law?
Oh yeah. It's scalding hot all the time there, so I was shocked when I learned Cyslodia is the exact opposite. Not to mention dark.
Not anymore, thankfully.
How did you even manage to cross the border between realms? All 5 realms are supposed to be closed off, due to the nature of the crown contest.
What? Is this an interrogation now?
I didn't mean it like that. I just figured if a Dahnan like you was able to slip between realms, it could come in handy later.
Ah, good thinking. I don't think I really did anything all that creative, though.
What? Don't tell me you climbed over the walls of fire.
Oh, hell no. Not even Zoogles could do something that crazy. Nah, I stowed away.
In what?
Oh, you'll like this. The realms don't maintain much contact with each other, but there are resources each is looking to trade for. So, there are cargo convoys from each of the lords that go around a few times a year to lend those resources to each other.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. That was the only time the gates of Calaglia would ever open up.
Right. Obviously, they don't let Dahnans ride with them, so I snuck on board inside some cargo instead.
So you were carried out of the realm? You did great not getting caught. Way to go.
Let's just say I've always had a knack for sneaking around since I was little. I was also really desperate to get the hell out of Calaglia at the time. I had more guts than brains that day. If I had to guess, I probably wasn't the first one to ever do something like that. Dahnan or Renan.
I wonder if that's how Ganabelt, was able to hear about what happened in Calaglia so quickly.
So in other words, We should always assume that the enemy is informed about whatever it is that we may be up to, wherever we go.
I think Hoodle senses something.
Where does that drawbridge connect to?
No idea, but I've seen it get lowered. It can't be lowered from this side anyway, so it's useless to us. No backing down!
Lightning
Fantastic! Great! Amazing!
I'm trying to focus. I guess you have your uses now and again.
Told ya! Lies are unstoppable!
Shame you're not like that all the time.
You're done! This one's mine!
Now, Elton!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Guess we don't know our own strength.
You could say that again.
Right, here goes! Be still!
We are freaking invincible!
Alvin and the others truly are strong.
What about me?
Demon Fang!
Looks like it could be worth something.
No backing down!
Dance in the annihilation!
You're
The
fire!
Earth Field! Lord of the Stop!
Armor won't save! I'm on a roll now!
It's like trying to keep up with a wall! You know what? One thing you really makes me realize.
Makes you realize what?
Maybe thinking too much gets in the way sometimes.
Exactly!
This one's
Don't
mine.
think, just keep swinging.
We're thinning them out.
Wait, more like me.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion. It is... Design of this equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alvin. Go no further!
Rip and tear!
They got me
Quit staring and concentrate on the fight.
My fists are crushing it out there!
No choice.
Damn!
I'm on it!
I'm not so good with airborne targets.
This one's mine.
Pick up fire! All yours!
Barely a blip on our radar.
What's wrong?
Real? Sure. Right.
Night? What?
Hey!
Well? What? Shion.
What?
Boy, talk about a spry old man.
I can't wait. I hate camping out.
Have you guys... checked your equipment lately?
This is perfect! I'll have everybody's mouths watering when they see this.
Shion, could we talk a moment?
Shouldn't you be resting?
I wanted to talk with you for a bit.
I don't really want to talk right now.
Right. I'll, stop bothering you then.
I didn't say you were bothering me. Sorry. Don't take it personally. I'm just not used to being around other people, so I don't really know how to chit-chat.
Well, for a start, you let your guard down a little. Hey, here's a thought. What if you tell me about your childhood?
What with my thorns and all, I didn't really have one. Not to speak of, anyway. Although, I guess I did have one friend.
Who was it?
A really old doll.
Oh.
When I was a little girl, the doll was the only thing I could touch and hold without worrying about my thorns hurting it. I would do things like dress it up or sit it on my lap when I was eating. The two of us were practically inseparable.
Can I ask something?
Is it about the fact that I played with dolls?
No, it isn't. I only wanted to ask who gave you the doll in the first place.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Where is it now?
I had to leave it behind when I left Lenegus. I didn't have a choice. Most likely it's long gone at this point. I think it's time we go to sleep. Come on, guys. We've got lots to do.
Hey! It's that ingredient!
Yeah, the one for that recipe.
You always have an eye for food. Law?
Yeah, sorry. Just a little travel weary is all. Looking forward to finally getting out of here, you know?
Still beating yourself up about your dad, aren't you?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But that's not what I was just thinking about.
Oh?
I never did tell you how I ended up hanging around with the Snake Eyes, did I?
Not properly. All I know is you had a falling out with your dad and ran away from home.
Getting to Cislodia almost killed me. Once there, though, I actually ended up joining a resistance organization, believe it or not. Of course, before long, someone ratted us out, and we were ambushed by the Snake Eyes. I'd never seen such brutality. If I hadn't surrendered...
Law?
I don't know why. They let me live. They made me watch as they butchered my friends right in front of my eyes. I still have nightmares. I hear roars of Zeugles as my friends scream, the snow stained red with blood, and all the while those bastards laughing. I thought that with Ganabelt defeated, I'd be able to put it all behind me. Turns out that was a little optimistic. I was terrified they would kill me too. So I wound up betraying the memory of my friends and getting my old man killed in the process. I wonder if I'm any braver now. What if one day I panic again and end up running away like always?
And leave us behind? You really think you'd do that?
I hope not. But who's to say what I'm really capable of?
Ah! I found you.
Something wrong, Rinwell?
How very perceptive of you. When I turned around, you were gone, so we came back to look for you.
Maybe tell us next time you decide to stop? We need all our manpower to face these Zeugles.
Jeez, okay. I can't help it when nature calls, can I?
Nature? Ew, gross! Here?
Let's make tracks, shall we?
I hope he makes it through this.
You invited him along. He's your liability.
He's Zephyr's son, Shion. What was I supposed to do? Just leave him?
Fine. Just don't come crying to me about it, all right? I've got enough deadbeats slowing me down as it is.
Why did people dig this path so far underground?
Maybe it was too dangerous on the mountains for them to traverse over them.
So you're saying that before Dahna was conquered, Dahnans made this so that they'd have a way to get through the mountains?
If I had to guess, they might have even lived inside of these once upon a time.
Not like there's any way of knowing now. Not after all our history was lost.
No, it wasn't lost. It was stolen from us by the Renans because they thought slaves didn't need it. And because keeping it around would have made it harder to control us.
It's not all gone. Look at that over there.
What is it? It looks like a broken piece from a dish or something.
Probably. It's true the Renans erased a lot of our history. But if we look hard enough, I think we'll find there's still plenty of it left. But first, we have to win the freedom to even look for it.
We'll win it, all right. Then we'll reclaim our history.
No holding back!
This'll be a piece of cake! Anything in armor is all mine!
Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal.
I'm not feeling free! Do it! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off.
In here! Let's get you all tucked away!
I won't rest until I'm the best I can be.
Still striving to be on par with the Lord?
You simply can't be too strong when battle is a part of your everyday.
I guess Messia is the first place we met. Hala.
Yeah, I was a Snake Eye and you were a Silver Sword. Who would have thought we'd end up on the same team?
You make an odd pair, it's true.
You guys are the...
I won't forgive you!
Now you see what I can do!
Confiscated!
Take this! Rip and tear! Bet that shell's hiding something tasty!
Lightning orb! Dance in the wind!
Run you through!
In here! Oh, saving this one!
It's almost too strong.
Leave the enemy's arms to me!
Be my guest.
No complaints here!
You're most comfortable at a range, aren't you?
I'm not really built for close quarters combat.
Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Right, next one!
Already on it!
Seems about right to me.
Why'd you human?
Demons descend! Flashing fang! Easy!
Way to go!
Got flyers!
I've got this! I guess we had
got me
to now and again.
Told ya! Lies unstoppable!
Shame you're not like that all.
I think I'm getting stronger.
Oh yeah? Think you could beat me at arm wrestling?
When have I not beaten you?
Right. I'll just go on ahead then.
Is the blazing sword okay?
A little water's not...
Gotta break through!
Hurricane! Here I come! Watch it!
Is it hot? Back down again! Out of ammo! More for the stop!
That's awesome! All back in there to start!
Well, I'm glad you have your uses.
I'll show you how useful I can be!
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
Get on in there with the others.
Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear!
Now!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off!
Ready and rip!
Well, looky here.
I won't forgive you!
I can carve through armor! Rising Wyvern! Talon Hurricane!
Lightning
Rip
orb!
and tear!
Raging cascade!
Now I'm in the groove! First strike! Your end's here! Talon Hurricane! Double Demon Fang! I'm out of shit!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! There's always room for improvement. Ow! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! Dragon Scout! This one's all mine! Not today!
Here's it!
Watch this!
In here!
We can turn the tables
Do
on.
it! There are still more
Armor
left!
won't save you!
No time to hold back.
Confiscated!
Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear!
Gale Force! Wait!
Great!
No backing down!
Let the monster handle this!
Quicker Slam! Wicked Hair! Hurricane Thrust! Eat this! You're done! Watch this!
Here, let me help.
I'll take you all on!
Now coming! Get there! Help this!
Eat this! I'll run you through! Come and get it!
Now! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one!
Already on!
We turn the tables on him.
There are still more left!
Right. No time to hold back.
I can carve through armor!
In here!
Talon Hurricane!
Damn, beat me to it.
Gotta be quick, or I'll take them all myself!
Come like hell.
I never been!
Talon Hurricane!
Now!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Here, let me help!
Lightning Thrust! So much for sitting this fight out. That wouldn't be... Nope, that'd be silly.
I think I'm getting stronger.
I won't forgive you!
Talon Hurricane!
Here goes!
Quicker Dragon!
Sweep now, ready!
Sonic Thrust!
Mega Ray!
Rip and now I'm in the groove!
Alright! It's showtime! Mega Ray! Thunder
screaming, huh?
Let me take the rest of them.
Yeah, someone's feeling
I
lively.
can carve through armor.
Here, let me help you
Now!
Another one down.
We're thinning them out.
Please, more like me.
I'll admit I'm impressed. Very slightly.
Ignite!
What a relief.
Sleep now.
Talon Hurricane!
Down in there with the others.
Rip and tear! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Looks like we won. Hey, new equipment!
All this walking up and down is a pain.
Yeah, I wish we could just go straight through without all this hassle.
On the other hand, the collapse parts let you reach some places you...
It's on! I can carve through now in the Kuchion!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one.
Eat this! Already on!
Wish they were all that easy.
Yeah, I think we might be getting too strong.
Isn't that good?
Play along, would you?
Phew, what a rush.
It's on! Hurricane! I'm on it! There! I'll run you through! I'm on it! I'll end you! First strike! Rip and tear! I'm on a roll now! You're mine! Not today!
We're in the home stretch, guys.
What she said? Eyes on the prize!
That focus goes double for you, Law.
Me? How come I get singled out? I'm just getting started! I'm on it! I'll end you!
You are in tip-top shape.
Here I
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
You little demons descend! Flashing bang!
So, did you like my boost arc?
Yeah, it was off the charts. I'm surrounded!
Here's a healing arc.
Talon Hurricane!
Okay, here I go.
Glimmer Dragon! Rip and tear! Eat this! Rising Wyvern!
Thunderblade!
Rising Phoenix! I'll run you
Crossed and
through!
ready.
Annihilate
This one's mine.
Armor won't save you! Talon! We got the advantage!
Here
Good.
goes!
Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, because Law's on it! Burn in hell!
Nicely done.
This looks nice and tough.
little longer.
Thanks for the sympathy.
Get it together.
I'm like
We need you
Paper Man.
informed.
Almost. Too slow.
Sleep now.
Talon Glimmer Dragon. You're on.
Wind astrally.
I'm on
Wizard
your
sword.
turn.
Hey, when it is annihilation.
Talon, I'll finish you here and now. Rhythm tear.
I guess you have your uses now and again.
We turned the tables on.
There are still more left. Damn, you're not like that all the time.
What you threw? Oh, now I'm real mad. What's this?
Nice, Bob. Hey, I'm here too, you know.
We managed to pull through. Hey, Law. Back when we left Cisleden, you remember how you said so long as you don't give up, there's nothing to stop someone starting over?
Yeah?
Well, I think you did just that. You've set out on a new path despite what happened in your past. Besides, you're not the only one fumbling your way through things.
You too?
It was your dad who taught me to fight. Back at the start of all this, I knew that so long as I followed him, I wouldn't end up straying. But it was also your dad who told me the importance of becoming my own master, of searching out the answers within me. I always figured I would one day. But at the same time, I had so much more to learn. When he died, I suddenly found myself rudderless. Sure, our immediate goal is to defeat all the lords. But then what comes after that? There's no one left to point me in the right direction. It was then that I realized, no matter how much I fret about it, the only thing I can do is fight. Renan brutality isn't going to right itself. So that's what I'm doing. Fighting. And in the meantime, I'll try to figure out my next move. Right now, that's about all I can do.
And you really believe you got what it takes to win this? Against all the odds?
Yes, I do. Or at least I want to. If I'm being completely honest, sometimes I'm not really sure whether I can or not. So what if we're still figuring stuff out? If we do it together, then we can support one another along the way. Is there anything so wrong with that?
No, I don't think there is. I think I get it now. We may not know what we're capable of, but we have to try all the same.
Having another one of your secret meetings? Don't tell me you were taking yet another bathroom break?
Oh, we were just engaging in a bit of brotherly bonding. Isn't that right, Alphen?
Yeah, that's right.
Fine then, suit yourselves. Hey, I think I can feel a breeze up ahead. I bet the exit is real close.
Finally! Man, it's been too long since I felt the sun on my face. When I get in a tussle, I go full force right at it. Whoever makes the first move wins.
I do have to admit, it's quite the spectacle to watch you charge in and go to town on someone during a battle.
Yeah, it was actually my old man who taught me to fight that way. The more I lay the beat down on some baddies, the more fired up my fists of fury get.
Zephyr taught you? Wow. I guess you really are following in his footsteps.
There's nothing wrong with being so focused on offense, but the enemy always fights back at some point.
As long as I don't get hit, it's not a problem, right?
So what you're saying is you're too weak to take a hit.
You're not exactly one to talk.
What were you two talking about earlier?
Earlier? Oh, it was just serious guy talk. You know, the kind that girls don't get to hear.
Really?
Don't mind him, Rinwell. It's just... well, maybe it is a little difficult to talk about in front of women.
Difficult to talk about? Okay, now I really want to hear it. Unless... it's not the creepy sort of guy talk, right?
No! Okay, it's not creepy.
Okay. As long as you're fighting fit, you can talk about whatever you like.
sense one of your friends, Hootle? We're finally here. Elde Menancia, the land of green. The place certainly lives up to its name, doesn't it?
Yeah, just feel that breeze. It's like night and day compared to Calaglia and Cyslodia.
Unsullied, fertile land, as far as the eye can see. It's beautiful. Oh, what?
Oh, nothing. Just... I was thinking the very same thing.
That's the realm capital in the distance. The city of Vicent. A word to the wise before we continue. Elde Menancia has produced more sovereigns over the years than any other.
Shion! Guess we should probably follow after her, shouldn't we? Hey, you alright, Law?
Yeah, fine. I was just thinking how Dad would have enjoyed this view. All this green in one place is incredible. Anyway, let's get moving before we start looking tasty to monsters.
Is he going to be okay?
Eventually. That's a wall he'll have to overcome on his own.
So if I remember right, there are 6 elements of astral energy, and darkness is only on Rena, and light can only be found on Dahna, right?
Right. I only remember because my parents drilled it all into my head when I was little.
How did we find out about dark astral energy in the first place if it's not on Dahna, though?
Beats me. I couldn't tell you how or when we figured out that sort of stuff. I'm sure there's other stuff we've forgotten along the way, too.
Yeah, I bet. And then we forget that knowledge was even forgotten at all, and it's back to square one.
Exactly. That's why we need to take good care of what knowledge and artifacts we still have left.
You really have a thing for old stuff, don't you?
Well, I don't know that I'd call it just a thing. It's also something that helps me feel connected to our world.
Connected?
It's nothing. Forget I even mentioned it. I should have guessed that there'd be no way he'd understand. How could he?
What's wrong? Huh?
Yes!
Hey, didn't we find a recipe that...
Yeah, we can use this for it. Hey!
Just great.
That can't be.
Nice.
Very well.
Maybe we should have left them alone.
Thanks, Xion.
Why are you thanking me? I hate camping out.
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
Why do you keep staring at me, Xion?
Just, what is that wolf on your shoulder?
Oh, this thing? I love it. I got it off a street vendor for just 10 gold.
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
Hey, 10 gold's a bargain if you ask me.
Because it wouldn't sell otherwise. It serves no practical purpose. Honestly, I'm surprised you paid 10 whole gold for it.
Shut up!
But the detail is so lifelike. I think you made a good choice, Law.
Really?
I have no idea why you wear it over your shoulder, though.
I think it looks pretty cool.
87! 88! 89! Oh, shoot!
What the? Is the enemy attacking?
Sorry about that. You're not hurt, are you?
Law? What on Dahna are you doing?
What am I doing? Training, obviously. I found these nice and heavy rocks that I decided to strap onto my arms, but I guess I didn't tie them down good enough because they went flying.
So you were doing improvised weight training. You and your crazy ideas.
I can't help it. If I'm not training, it's easy for me to get anxious.
Well, that's fair. Actually, I remember seeing you practicing your forms for some time when we were camping the other day.
Yep. No amount of muscle will do you any good if you don't stay on top of your fighting forms. It always feels good when I know I'm still sharp.
Sounds to me like you have too much pent-up energy.
Don't train so hard that you wind up hurting yourself, Law. I promise you, you're already perfectly strong as it is.
No, I'm not. You never know what we'll run into out there. You can never go into a fight too prepared. And that's the truth. Besides, I won't rest until I know that I'm stronger than you, Alphen.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, I don't plan on letting you beat me. Maybe I'll add some weights to my sword and practice swinging it. That should help out.
Alphen, are you crazy?
You're right. This does make for decent training. Good call with the extra weight, Law.
Right? Now you get it?
Since we've already come this far, what do you say we have a little one-on-one with our rocks strapped on?
Hell yeah! I'm down for that! Just give me a second, I'll be all ready to roll. Okay, I'm all set. Let's do this! Take this!
I'm just getting started.
Our camp is completely wrecked!
Go. You two are cleaning it up.
Yes, Xion.
Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it.
Mind if I join you, Law?
Hey, Alphen. When do you find the time to train?
What's brought this on all of a sudden?
It's just, even without the blazing sword, you'd still be able to hold your own, right? But I never see you training.
I'd hardly call it a regimen. Unless exchanging blows with Zeugles counts.
I mean, sure, I get that real-life practice beats training any day, but you must have the odd trick or two up your sleeve.
I just told you, I really don't.
Wait, I've got it. It's your armor, right? You channel the extra weight into your strikes and...
It's actually not as heavy as it looks.
So not the armor, huh? In that case...
Just calm down a little, would you? Why are you so fixated on this anyway?
Well, because I want to make myself stronger.
You're strong enough as it is. I almost feel sorry for those Renan soldiers.
It's not enough. I need to keep working to get stronger. I won't allow myself to fail anyone again.
Law?
I'm useless the way I am now. If someone else dies because of me...
Law!
Sorry. Spiraling into self-doubt won't do me any favors. I know that.
None of us are invincible, Law. We're all just getting by, doing the best we can.
That's all we can ask of each other, right? It's as good a place as any to start, I guess.
To start what?
My new training regimen, of course. And what better way to kick it off than push-ups? 1, 2, 3, 4...
I admire your enthusiasm. Just don't overdo it, okay?
Just wait. You'll see how strong I can get. See you guys tomorrow. I feel pretty refreshed after that sleep.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho!
Maybe something's going on in the forest. I think Hoodle senses.
Just great.
I guess... Yeah!
Great!
No holding back.
This one's mine!
Cake!
Glimmer Dragon! Rip and tear! You're mine!
Dance in the wind! If they rush you, you gotta jump to cover, okay?
You're mine! Rising Water!
I guess you had your uses now and again.
Told ya! Lies don't stop!
Shame you're not like that all the time.
I won't forgive you!
Hurricane!
Proton!
Glimmer
Blast in the wind!
Resist!
Alpen! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Wait,
My fists are crushing it out there!
Hey, would you look at that? Green as far as the eye can see. I think even the Zoogles look a little fuller than they usually do.
Oh...
You okay? You made a weird sound.
Sorry. I was just thinking how amazing this view is.
What's the matter? Haven't you ever seen mountains and fields before?
Actually, now that I think about it, it's not every day we get to enjoy views like this.
You too?
Yeah, Calaglia has rocky landscapes, but the terrain here is completely different. Like, you see that mountain over there? Doesn't it look like a big wave that somebody turned into stone?
Right? And those ones look like the horns or claws of some giant monster. I'm surprised they managed to stay up.
Yeah, just be thankful we don't have to pass under them.
Actually,
They won't come tumbling down that easily.
You sure about that?
Menancia harvests earth energy, which explains why the topography is so varied here. It's also why those rocks are bound to be sturdy.
So all that astral energy is also what makes this realm look so lush then? Does astral energy really have that much of an impact on the land?
Yeah. Is that why even that mountain looks the way that it does?
The stronger the energy is, the greater impact it has on lots of things. So yes, like a great big fire.
but these imbalances are too pronounced to be nature's work. It's not how Dahna would otherwise naturally look.
If it's not natural, then you mean all of this is the Renans doing?
When you put it like that, even something as nice looking as this starts to feel wrong.
I think Hoodle senses something. This hill. I'm sensing a stronger concentration of astral energy around it.
Oh, does that mean there's treasure buried underneath here or something?
Who said anything about treasure?
There's nothing here. It doesn't even connect to Vicent.
Nope. Let's quit wandering around and get back to work. I have a bad feeling about this.
Eagle fly! Eat dirt!
What's this?
Rip and tear!
Eat this! Anything in order is all mine!
Here I go.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off.
Flaming Thrust!
There's more where that came from. Maybe something's going on in the forest. I think Hoodle senses something.
I hate camping out.
I see a village over there.
The people working in it look Dahnan.
Look at these fields and all this livestock. Am I crazy for thinking these people seem to have it pretty easy?
What the hell is going on here?
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Ah!
All right. Yeah, good. I guess.
Yes! I don't believe...
Really? Who would have thought? Thought we'd be raising animals in a place like this.
Since we've decided to stop, we should make use of the opportunity.
Do you mean me?
It doesn't matter who. Look, Renan soldiers.
Do the Renans control this city? I've never seen so many of them in one place before.
No. Look at the cores on them. These people are all Dahnans. They're slaves.
If they are, they're awfully well dressed.
And they're smiling too. Something weird's going on here.
Forgive the intrusion, but if I'm not mistaken, you're newcomers to Elde Menancia, yes? Please, you have no reason to be alarmed. My name is Droshin. I work at the Department for Welfare.
Department for Welfare?
We work to support the day-to-day living of all citizens. Welcoming newcomers to the realm is a part of our job, albeit one we rarely have the pleasure to perform.
Let me guess. We get a free pair of shackles as a welcome gift.
Perish the thought! Your trepidation is perfectly understandable, but I assure you, our way is quite different. In the past, this realm was no different from any other, and run by a rather merciless ruler. But all of that changed once His Excellency, Lord Dohalim, assumed power 7 years ago.
Dohalim.
Under him, for the first time in our lives, we Dahnans were treated with the respect we deserve. Lord Dohalim is adored by Dahnans throughout the realm, and we serve him with gladness.
Am I hearing you right? The Dahnans here willingly serve a Renan lord?
Please, see for yourself. You're free to go anywhere you like. Just ask if you should need anything.
What is it? Spit it out.
It's just, we came here to free everyone.
Uh-huh.
But the Dahnans of this realm are all happy to serve Dohalim. Are there any walls that even need tearing down?
Who cares? That just makes our path to Dohalim that much clearer.
I guess, but...
Still, Droshin said we should check things out for ourselves. Maybe we should look around a bit, see what we learn.
Everyone is all smiles.
I've never seen a city so lively before.
I feel like somebody's watching us.
Right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
They've made cutlery out of Zugelfangs? What a waste.
How so?
They make great weapons. I get.
Sure.
Sure.
Everyone walking the streets looks so calm and happy. I guess it really is true they don't treat Dahnans as slaves here.
Did they actually somehow achieve equality here? And if they did, why? To what end?
Something here doesn't feel right, even though they sure want to act like it does.
What is going through that Lord Dohalim's mind, I wonder?
Okay!
Just, well...
All right!
What are you gonna use the prize money for?
What else? Eating until my stomach bursts.
That sounds right up Shion's alley.
Let's see what's going on around here.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Yes. Ah!
How?
Hey!
Got
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey! Why are we humoring this old man again?
Because there's no way I'm passing up a top-secret palace recipe, okay?
Here's a surprise.
I still can't believe I'm seeing Dahnans and Renans getting along.
You never know. It could all be an act on orders from the Renans.
To what end?
So these are the training grounds. Yeah.
Pow! Talon Hurricane! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Dragon Shout! Swallow Dance! Glimmer Dragon! Now I'm in the groove! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Talon Hurricane! Talon Hurricane! It's go time! Armor won't save you! I'm just getting started! Rip and tear! Dragon Shout! I lost myself in the heat of the moment! Dragon Shout! Eat this! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! Ready and rarely! First strike! I've let you all down. It's on! Talon Hurricane! Watch it! Dragon Shout! Talon Hurricane! Ready and rarely! I can carve through armor! It was nice while it lasted. Swallow Dance! Swallow Dance! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Watch this! Dragon Shout! run you! Talon Hurricane! Swallow Dance! Talon Hurricane! Ribbon, it's go time! Now you see what I can do! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! I'm on it! Talon Hurricane! Another one down! Eagle Fly! Talon Hurricane! I'm like bait to them! Glimmer Dragon! Eagle Fly! I'll finish you here and now! Glimmer Dragon! Rip and tear! Dragon Ship! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! I'm on a roll now! It's go time! I can carve through armor! Talon Hurricane! Eagle Dive! Talon Hurricane! How's this? Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Talon Hurricane! I'm on it! First strike! You're done! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! First strike! I'll run you through! I'm on it! Talon Hurricane! Ready and raring! First strike! Faster! I'll smash you! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Eagle Dive! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Talon Hurricane! Talon Hurricane! That frickin' does it! Talon Hurricane! I'm such a failure.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
My dad's working in the quarry today. So is mine. I'm gonna help him when I grow up.
Looks like we get to sleep with a roof over our heads.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately? That came out great.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Looks like Dahnans are working in the quarry.
Let's go check it out.
So, do any of you know anything about Lord Dohalim?
I think I remember hearing something back in Sisloden about how he fights using a rod.
A rod?
I don't know the details, but from what I gather, he swings a long rod around and uses it to stab and smack people from afar. I think there's also something he does with, like, trees or grass or something? I forget.
Grass?
Bear in mind that Elde Menancia harvests Earth astral energy. It would be no surprise for him to have some sort of control over plants.
So basically the point is we know nothing about the guy. Wish we weren't going in completely blind.
Stay sharp. We're going in.
I'm sorry. I'm not feeling well today. Could I please take the day off?
Oh, that's terrible. Rest up.
Halt! I presume you're Alphen, of Orbis Calaglia? I'm Captain Kisara of the Elde Menancia Guard.
Just Kisara? No last name would make you a Dahnan.
So it does. Is that a problem?
The guard. Wait, so you're saying the Lord of Elde Menancia has Dahnans protecting him?
In this country, Dahnan guardsmen aren't unusual. Everyone who enlists does so of their own free will.
She sounds like she's serious, Alphen.
That makes no sense. Don't your people remember 7 years ago?
Wouldn't you be grateful if you were finally allowed to live as a free person? And for my part, there is no greater honor than being chosen to serve His Excellency, Lord Dohalim. I feel no shame. But all of that aside, I came seeking you, Alphen, at Lord Dohalim's behest. He wishes an audience with you.
With us?
Indeed. He awaits you at Autolina Palace. That is, if you choose to accept. I am here only as a messenger, not a kidnapper. Your reply?
All right. We'll meet your lord.
Very well. I shall return and deliver your acceptance. Please don't keep him waiting too long.
Before you go, what lies beyond this point?
A quarry manned by Dahnan laborers.
Nothing else?
There's a Dahnan medical facility for the severely ill at the back. However, for sanitation reasons, it's kept off limits, even to guardsmen.
That was odd. Why do you think this Dohalim would want to see us?
It's probably a trap.
Still, they already know we're here. Not like we can start being stealthy now. We might as well listen to what he has to say.
Hey, are you sure about going? What if it's a trap?
That Kisara woman. She sounded pretty smug about serving Dohalim, didn't she?
She still has a Renan for a boss. How is that any different from being a slave?
Renan society is a meritocracy. To us, it's seen as natural that those who sit at the top rule over the rest.
It's the same old wall as the rest of Dahna at the end of the day, just with a different coat of paint.
I guess it can change people's attitudes if they can at least serve someone they respect.
But they're still being deceived. It's obvious that's what's happening.
On the one hand, her loyalty really did seem to be genuine. But on the other hand, Calaglia had its fair share of Dahnans who just accepted Renan rule because it was all they'd ever known. With that in mind, it can be hard to tell if her loyalty truly came about on its own, or if it's just the result of years of subjugation.
Who knows? It might clear some things up if we hear what Dohalim has to say.
Yeah, you're right. Let's make our way to the palace.
Do you sense... I just don't get it. The Dahnans have endured years of suffering. How could they just turn around and trust the Renans all of a sudden?
Yeah, I've been wondering the same thing. But I guess they must have a pretty good reason, right?
Like what? What could erase 300 years of pain and suffering?
Maybe it's precisely because they suffered for so long that they see Dohalim as something of a savior.
Hey, whose side are you on here, Alphen?
Relax, Rinwell. All I'm saying is that we shouldn't jump to assumptions about these people until we know more about the situation.
I just don't get it.
I guess that towering structure at the center is the palace.
You think it's dangerous to go inside?
It's not a question of danger. We're going inside regardless.
Hey!
Pretty fancy place they got here.
There's no way this isn't a trap.
Your guests, my lord.
Thank you, Kisara. You're the wielder of the blazing sword, the liberator of Calaglia. You do dress humbly for someone of such grandeur. But where are my manners? I am the ruler of Elde Menancia. I'm Lord Dohalim Qaras.
If you know who we are, then you know how strange it is to invite us into your palace.
I thought I'd clear up your misconceptions before things could escalate. What do you say? You did come here to defeat me, did you not?
Perhaps, and what if we did? Are you planning to fight us here?
I don't think that will be necessary. After all, I imagine you've taken in a fair amount of his scent by this point. Have you come across even one slave being abused? Soldiers killing for sport? Suffering of any form? I would hazard that you have not. For I have liberated Menancia from its suffering and brought joy to its people. But if these results are not enough to stay your sword... I commend you for your boldness, but it won't work on me. Still, your would-be assassination cannot go unpunished.
Alphen!
Fair enough. Allow me to host you for dinner. We shall continue our talk then. Kelzelik?
Yes, my lord.
Please escort our guests if you would be so kind.
As you wish, sire.
That's what you get for being so careless.
What I get? What were you thinking attacking him on your own?
What are you upset about? Our whole goal is supposed to be overthrowing the Lords. Remember?
He could have been hurt.
And it wouldn't have been the first time either. What's gotten into you?
Hey, you do know that Alphen is really just worried about you, right?
He's worried?
I mean, that's what it looked like to me. But maybe not.
It pains me to see that Renan cuisine isn't to your liking. I asked my chefs to prepare only the finest delicacies available. 2 wasted opportunities.
Why did you set the Dahnans here free when you took over?
But you are mistaken. You see, I may rule single-handedly, but on my own even I cannot change the order of things. But what is within my power is the welfare of the people, the fostering of a mutual respect among the classes. This I can change.
Sounds a lot like the Dahnans are still oppressed, if you ask me.
Only in the sense they continue to serve as laborers, yes. However, I assure you they are fairly compensated for their efforts. This harmony we strive for is the current pinnacle of Renan-Dahnan coexistence.
Harmony and coexistence between the Renans and the Dahnans.
What about the crown contest? This doesn't exactly make you a shoo-in.
And yet, the Dahnans here are even more productive than when they used to face daily lashings. In any case, the crown contest is of little importance to me, and even less to Elde Menancia. You see, I have no interest in becoming sovereign.
Stop this! Please! It's over! Stop!
How could you? I swear, I'll never forgive you for this!
It is not by choice that one assumes the throne of a realm. But sovereign is a different matter entirely. I have no interest in playing their game.
Are you saying you'll withdraw from the contest?
I guess if you don't plan to ascend the throne, there's not much reason to harvest energy from Dahnans, is there?
Let the ambitious fight it out amongst themselves. All I care for is maintaining peace throughout my realm.
So what? Your personal desires are all that matter to you?
Take a look in the mirror. I may not play their games, but you have outright betrayed your own. You've torn down 2 of my fellow lords. What precisely is your aim? Spare me your answer. I care not for your reasons. Suffice it to say, I will not impede you. That said, should you threaten the peace of my realm, I will respond. I suggest you conclude your business and leave Menancia at your earliest convenience. Kelzelik. Our guests depart. Please see to their lodgings for the night.
I shall arrange for rooms for you all at a local inn. It is a short ways down the road. You may stay there for the night, after which I suggest you promptly make your departure.
Damn, look at how ritzy this place is. How many rooms do you think it's got?
Don't you think you're being a little too relaxed? They could strike at any moment.
If they were going to attack...
So you're the blazing sword of Calaglia now, huh? Come to think of it, I remember Ganabelt calling you that too.
Yeah, you're getting to be pretty famous among the lords.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing either.
What do you mean? That's something you should be proud of, if anything, Alphen. They're scared of you, man. You're a real badass.
It's not as simple as that, Law. The more well-known he is, the more people might come after him.
No, that's not what I'm worried about.
It isn't?
When people call me that, it feels like there's something hanging over me that shouldn't be there. It's hard to put into words, but it's something that doesn't feel like a part of me. Something I can't let be a part of me. Or else.
Well, I still think it's pretty amazing, but that's just me.
Do you really think we should trust accommodations from a Renan lord? How do we know it's safe?
Like we have any other choice. We can't go and set up camp outside of town at this hour.
Honestly, I'd still take that over staying here. What if they try to kill us in our sleep?
I doubt that's the case. His best chance to kill us would have been back at the palace. His true intentions aside, for now, at least we're in his good books.
Then we probably shouldn't test his patience. Let's find that inn and check in.
Interesting. All we ever got was a tattered blanket, a rock-hard bed, and well past its prime food.
What are you talking about?
What we got for our slave labor back in Calaglia. As you can tell, it wasn't much at all. Here, the Dahnans get the same basic amenities, but the quality is way better than anything we were given. Hell, apparently they even get time off to do what they want. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure how to take all this in.
Could it be that things were simply harsher in Calaglia compared to everywhere else?
It was the same in Cislodia too. Our buildings and clothing were equipped to handle the cold, but that was the only difference. Working the floodlights was a form of punishment, so we didn't really get rewarded for anything that we did.
Yeah, you could be assigned to fix food or make daily necessities too, but when all was said and done, most of that stuff went to the Renans. There wasn't much in the way of compensation for any of that, so I'd say that Cislodia and Calaglia were both pretty awful.
Then Elde Menancia really is unusual.
To say the least. Hell, I might even go so far as to call it crazy. But the fact remains, Dahnans aren't free here.
Yeah, no matter how happy they look, they're still slaves.
I don't even know what to think right now. This is all way too much to deal with. It's giving me a headache. So that was Lord Dohalim, huh? He sure is something. Definitely not like the other lords we've met up until now.
At first, he sounded like just some snobby royal, but he immediately shut down Shion's surprise attack. He's tougher than he looks.
Definitely. After all, he's a lord for a reason.
The food was pretty damn good, too.
Why are you two complimenting him? You just said it yourself, Alphen. He's a Renan lord.
Yeah, but he didn't act hostile towards us.
You're reading him wrong. He's acting indifferent. He's attempting to keep some distance between himself and everyone else. It's obvious.
What are we going to do then? Vicent seems to be legit peaceful. Are we just gonna do as he says and leave things be?
I'm not entirely sure. For now, I think it would be best for us to rest at the inn and think about our options.
Welcome, fair travelers. Lord Dohalim's retainer told us to expect you. It is an honor for you to stay with us. Please, make yourselves comfortable.
This is better than I expected.
Hmm?
The room. It's nice.
Huh? Oh, yeah. It is pretty nice.
You okay, La? You're a million miles away.
Nah, it's weird. I felt strange ever since we arrived here. Can't seem to shake it. Maybe it's something about this place.
You're just tired. I'm feeling pretty sluggish myself.
You too?
Seriously, you two? A word to the wise, our work here is far from over. Get yourselves together.
Sorry, but I need to call it a day. Let's meet back here tomorrow morning and see where things go from there. Sound good?
Sure, but keep an eye out for anything strange, okay? We still don't know how safe this place really is. Are you two feeling any better?
Yeah, a good night's sleep seems to have done the trick.
I wonder why we felt so out of it. You think it might have been because of all the food we ate?
You don't think they slipped something into our food, do you? That must be it.
If they were making an attempt on our lives, we'd know it by now. Though, on the other hand, they could be warning us off.
Come to think of it, you didn't eat anything at the meal, Rinwell. Aren't you starving?
Oh, I made myself something later.
You missed out. That was some mighty fancy grub they served yesterday.
What? And give the enemy a chance to poison me too? Are you crazy?
What's the big deal? Shion ate it too, remember? And we both tried the same stuff.
Well, maybe they laced it with poison that's only harmful to Dahnans,
That's enough, Rinwell.
A cat? Where'd it come from?
There's something on its collar. Hold on a sec.
I think it's trying to lead us somewhere.
I'm gonna follow it.
Hey! Where do you think you're going? Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle? There it is!
Stay close. We're gonna lose it.
What's gotten into you, Law?
This might be the lead we've been waiting for.
Seriously?
Yeah. Some people train animals to act as messengers. They don't attract attention, see?
And you think that someone might be using that cat? To reach out and send us a message or something?
I could be wrong, but it's possible.
I'm impressed. I would never have thought of that.
I should know. We used to use them in Cyslodia.
She's so adorable.
You say something?
So, that black cat, do you think it works for someone?
I'm sure it does. It wouldn't try to lead us around like that if somebody didn't train it to.
I wouldn't know. I've never had one myself. If I did, it'd probably try to eat poor Hoodle.
I wonder who they are, though. I doubt this is Dohalim's work.
Yeah, he has no reason to do this. Although we can't rule out that it might be one of his lackeys either.
You think one of his subordinates is up to something?
That Dohalim guy is a pretty unusual character for a Renan, let alone for a lord. It's hard for me to imagine that they all agree with what he's doing. Maybe one of them plucked up the courage to go rogue.
Well, let's head further in. I'd like to figure out at least one of the mysteries of this place.
Where do you think it's trying to lead us?
Who knows? We should hurry. We don't want to lose it.
Whoever came up with this is pretty damn clever.
Yeah, it just looks like an ordinary cute cat.
We lost sight of the cat.
After the chase it's led us on, there's gotta be something up ahead.
Let's go far.
I get that underground forests aren't exactly something you see every day, but I really could have done without any Zeugles running around.
You said it. I get the city up top surrounded by castle walls, but now I won't be able to sleep easy knowing they're lurking underneath.
You have nothing to fear. Zeugles work for the Renans. There might be strays out here, but the other Zeugles won't let them get close.
Using the Zeugles to keep watch over their own kind, huh? That would explain why we're not seeing any guards.
Yeah, which makes it that much easier for someone to hide around here, too.
Ah! Sorry, Shion. My foot slipped. Are you all right?
I should be asking you. What am I saying? Of course you're okay. It's easy to forget sometimes. If anybody else had been in your place, they'd be howling right about now.
Huh? Oh, right. You mean your thorns. Yeah, I'm, no worse for wear over here. Again, sorry for brushing you like that without warning.
Well, just be careful. Hey, Alphen?
Hmm?
Forget it. It's nothing. I'm sorry to bother you.
Oh, okay.
What's with those two? This won't be easy. Don't be such a pessimist.
Evil God! I'm ready! Dance in the wind! Don't mind if I do! Whatever you do, just stay away from the spores! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang! Easy! Way to go! Eat this! Living Care! Roll now!
Glacial Spear!
Pieces! One more time!
Well, someone seems in tip-top form. Nothing new about that. And still as humble as ever.
Dragon Swarm! Eagle Fly!
Wow, that was a nice move there.
I know, right? Bet you couldn't do it.
So it's a grab here, thrust the left leg, then use the right arm to leverage over...
Stop memorizing my move!
The reason the trees around here are so big is because of astral energy, right?
It's possible, but give them enough time and...
I have a bad feeling about this.
Eagle God! Dragon Down! Eat this! You're done!
Are those arms even natural?
You're done! I'm just getting started! First strike! Someone win! I'm on it! All in here! Here I go! First strike! Burn in hell! Talon Hurricane!
This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
Man, I hope I live long enough to regret this.
Wait, you're not Dragon! You all tucked away. I'm expert. Come on,
roll now.
Crossblade.
With care. Eagle drive.
Sweet dreams.
Demon Fang.
You're most comfortable at a range, aren't you?
I'm not really built for close quarters combat.
Nor am I. Don't worry, I'll help you keep a wide berth.
Dragon Shout. Eagle drive. Dragon Shout.
Whew, what a relief.
I need to be stronger.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough!
Armor won't save you.
Glacial
Glimmer
Spear.
Now
This one's gonna be tough!
you're finished.
You are intense.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
What's the girl ever say no?
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more color.
Cut them apart to your heart's content.
Eagle drive. I'm up. Let's go. Talon Hurricane. By the power of Glimmer Dragon.
Nicely done.
You're slacking. Step it up.
Yeah. We've got the ingredients. You got it. Let's get them back to Messia.
Looks like it could be worth something.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Eagle drive.
I'm gonna need more.
Glimmer Dragon. Need a sonic thrust. I'll run you through. Talon Hurricane.
You're most comfortable at a range, aren't you?
I still got a ways to go. Brace yourselves. This one's tough.
Now you see what I can do.
I'm not done.
Glimmer Dragon.
There's too many.
This one's mine.
Watch this.
Glimmer Dragon. Eagle drive. Dragon Shout.
Thank you.
The tide of battle has turned. That's the power of comrades in arms.
Right. Comrades in arms.
What? Sentimental?
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart's content.
Eagle drive.
We're thinning them out.
That's my cue.
More like me.
I'll admit I'm
Shut him down.
very slow.
Finish this. Gion.
Get toasty!
Burn strike.
I'm even stronger than before. Everywhere you look, it's nothing but green, green, and more green.
Just like Calaglia. Rocks, rocks, and more rocks.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Shattering the pieces. Attack time. Rising Riser. Dragon Shout. Rising Come on, roll now. Dragon Shout. I'll run you back like it doesn't.
Leave the enemy's arts to me.
I'm like bait to them. No complaints here.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop the flying?
Big Six has got your name on him. Well, Demon's Descent. Flashing Fang. Easy.
Way to go!
Eagle Dive.
This'll come to
Talon
me.
Hurricane. Glimmer Dragon. Roll now.
Freeze Lancer! With this, I can become even stronger.
I think the animals back at the ranch should be all grown up by now. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like these plants before. It's like they're an invasive species. Not that I'm surprised. Calaglia's all dry and Cyslodia is...
Watch out!
The hell? Is that a Zoogle?
That thing is huge! Everyone, be careful!
Why can't these dumb plants just keep to themselves?
Less whining and more fighting, thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
Watch it. The enemy is over there.
I'll smash you!
Mega Ray!
Rising Viper!
The enemy is captured! Confiscate! This one's mine!
Rising Viper!
Eagle
Fly! Rising
I can't lay a finger on it.
I prefer it that way. What about you?
Just what? I
I
see.
can't get close enough to hit the main body!
Let's start by taking out the tentacles.
I'm on it!
This one's all mine! Easter! Slither Dragon!
I'm only
Rip and tear!
Dance in the wind!
Rising Hurricane!
I'm on a roll now! I'm on it! Frenzy is shattering to pieces! Attack time!
Rising Viper!
Dance in the wind!
Talon Hurricane! That freaking does it!
Rising Falcon!
Talon Hurricane! How's this?
Well, someone seems in tip-top form.
Nothing new about that shit.
And still as humble as ever.
Where are you going?
Watch this! Rip
Here I
and
go!
tear!
It's
Glimmer Dragon!
Hurricane Thrust!
That freaking does it!
Rising Phoenix!
Glacial Spear!
Dragon
Fierce Evil! Dance in the wind! Freeze
Rising
Laser!
Light!
I hope this thing is meant to
Enemy
be
coming!
Then we'll take them down!
Ignite!
Freeze Laser!
Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear!
Annihilation! Lightning Orb!
We got the advantage!
Good. Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, cause law's on!
Rising Viper!
Talon Hurricane!
Rising Phoenix!
Glimmer Dragon! Another one down!
We're thinning them out.
More like me!
I'll admit I'm impressed. Very slightly.
Rising Viper! Glimmer Dragon! Rip and tear! That's my boss!
This one's mine!
Here I go! Into the shadows! Light Asteroid!
Demon Fang!
Sleep now!
Rising Viper!
This is in the sky!
Glimmer Dragon!
I never miss!
Rip and tear! Glimmer Dragon!
Back into the fray!
I'm almost impressed.
My praise comes from you.
I said almost. Don't get carried away.
I'm only
Rip and tear! Ready and ready! I can carve through armor! Flaming rip and tear! Flaming flash!
You picked the wrong fight.
Raging
Rip and tear!
Rising Viper!
Finish
it!
Everyone okay?
I'm starting to get that it's a trap feeling again, guys.
We'll just pray you're wrong. Hey, there's that cat.
Looks like it's not done leading us yet.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
This had better not all be for nothing.
Somehow I doubt it. You know, for a guard, you're not too good at tailing people. Not to brag, but this kind of thing is my specialty.
So it really is you. When Law told us, I almost didn't believe it.
I'm just surprised you could do two things at once, Law.
What's that supposed to mean?
It looks like somebody needs to be put in their place.
The one time I wanted to resolve things peacefully. What the hell? I thought you wanted us to leave!
You'll never make me talk!
Not helpful. In fact, you're pretty damn stubborn, you know that?
Eat this! Lightning orb! You got it! Roar! Hurricane! Glimmer Blade! Crescent Eagle!
Its armor's too strong.
Split it up!
Be my guest.
Eat this! I'll run you through this form! Return down!
One at a time.
Eat this! Burn! Damn it! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear! Megasonic Eagle Fly! Tiger Blade! Rising Weapon! You're done! Eat this!
Lightning orb!
Swing!
Lightning condemns!
Talon What's this? Sonic Thrust! Rip and tear! Sword Ring out! Severing Wind!
Lunar corruption!
Strike! Here I come!
This one's mine!
Eat this!
Here I go!
Hurricane!
This one's mine!
Wouldn't mind if I do!
Rip and tear! Eagle Fly! Dragon Shout! All fitted
They're
to
not big enough. There! How is this? Lightning orb! Raging Hurricane!
Discharge! Talon Hurricane! Rip and tear!
Sleep now! Get on in there! Healing effort!
So much for sitting this fight out.
That would be a complaint!
No, that'd be silly. Now you see what I can do.
Burn! Glimmer Dragon! I'm not done! Dragon Shout! Blew away! I'm on I'll end you! Talon Hurricane!
Dance in the wind!
Rip and tear!
Sleep now! I'll be saving
Strike!
Where are you going? Light astral energy!
Dragon Swarm!
Tiger blade!
Be still!
Here's a healing art!
I've let you all down.
Stay away from my friend!
Bring you back lightning resist!
You're mine!
Not done yet! Corruption!
Here I come! Hurricane! Rip and tear! Alpha! Glimmer Dragon! Eat this!
I'll
Eat you! You're my time!
Flare tornado!
Burn in hell! Talon
Astral
Hurricane!
dance in the wind! Air
Pierce
thrust!
through! Sword Ring out! Eat this!
I'll end
Here I come!
Dance in the wind!
Demon Blade!
Here's a healing art!
Talon Hurricane! Dragon Swarm! Glimmer Dragon! Pierce through!
Lunar corruption!
First strike!
Here's one!
I'll end you! Eat this! I'll run you through shattering discharge! Talon Hurricane!
Lunar bladders! I'm on
Dragon Swarm! Now I'm in the group!
Ready!
Crescent Moon!
Confiscated!
Double Wind! Talon Hurricane! Here I come! Glimmer Dragon! Sturdo! Dragon Shout! Rising Falcon! First strike! You're mine! I'll end you!
The enemy is going away!
Denied!
Not my finest.
You'll pay for that!
Now I can let loose.
Will this help? Raging orb! Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. What's your deal, huh? Did Dohalim put you up to this? You send us away and then come to finish us off? I don't buy it.
I wonder. We came here following a black cat. What reason could you have for tagging along? Certainly not as a spy.
You think she might have business with whoever called us out here?
And even if she did, I highly doubt she was trying to keep us from harm. Am I wrong? Just who was it that led us out here? Answer me.
Are you serious?
Hold your horses. I'm the one who summoned you all here. Well, maybe not all. Nice of you to drop by, Kisara. It's been a while.
You two know each other?
Hello, brother.
So, you're the big heroes who liberated Calaglia and Cislodia, huh? It's an honor to meet you all.
We didn't do it all on our own. We had a lot of support from others along the way.
So, wait, Kisara's your sister?
Yep, that she is. The only family I have left. She was the dreamer of the two of us, full of hope for the future of this realm, for both Dahnans and Renans alike.
For siblings, you two don't exactly look like you're on the best of terms.
That's because Miguel here is a traitor. Isn't that right? We were in the guard together. That is, until he was caught plotting to assassinate His Excellency Lord Dohalim. He took off after that.
Is that true?
You still believe that's what happened?
I don't see why I shouldn't.
Even if the truth slapped you in the face, you'd reject it. Same as back then. Heck, even now I'm still working to serve Lord Dohalim.
More lies. You haven't changed.
Before Lord Dohalim came to power, this country was ruled by an oppressive regime. We lost both of our parents to it. Back in those days, there were countless Dahnan children who had been orphaned by the Renans' tyranny, just like us. So we formed our own families among ourselves and helped each other out, surviving as best we could. And then Lord Dohalim came along. He abolished the oppression that kept us down, and the Dahnans were treated like people again. Menancia was reborn under his watch, and orphaned children became a thing of the past.
If so, then why did you betray him?
I'm not done talking. I'm sure you know the Renans are trying to harvest astral energy from us Dahnans.
Yes. Shion here told me that's how they decide their next sovereign.
That's right. There are 5 types of astral energy. Earth, water, fire, wind, and light. All of them are contained within every living being.
And that's the excuse they use to enslave us.
You ever wondered what happens to living beings and other matter when they lose all their astral energy?
They just die, or so I thought.
If only. See for yourselves.
What the... Is that metal?
Not metal, but to be honest, your guess is as good as mine. I believe it's... nothing. Matter with no physical form, just a reminder of what was once there. They call it the hollowing.
The hollowing?
The process itself is invisible to the naked eye, but it makes the impacted area reflective. Once it consumes my whole body, that's it for me. I'm dead.
What? That can't... Miguel, when were you going to...
A sinister plot is unfolding as we speak. One Lord Dohalim is likely none the wiser to. It was blind luck I even found out about it. I tried to warn the man for all the good it did. Take a look at this. It's called the Fruit of Helgen. When a Dahnan eats this fruit, their body enters a heightened state, one that causes them to emit more astral energy than usual.
Hold on. Could this be the reason Alphen and Law were feeling out of sorts last night after we ate with Dohalim?
Sounds like you've been introduced to these things before. None too surprising either. Most of the realm's food supply contains traces of the fruit.
If that's what we ate, does that mean we'll become hollowed like your hand?
You don't need to worry. You'd have to consume a large amount of the fruit regularly to exhibit any symptoms.
But if that's the case, Then why aren't I showing any symptoms? Why would you be inflicted and not me?
If I had to guess, because the guards' meals are free of it. Otherwise, they'd risk Lord Dohalim noticing. I tried to warn him, but all it got me was locked up. They force-fed me the fruit the entire time I was in chains. It's a miracle I made it out. They eventually left me for dead, thinking I would succumb to my condition. But I survived and managed to escape.
So the assassination plot, just a cover-up?
What?
Eventually, I found others like me, and together we founded the Gold Dust Cats. Our mission is to uncover the truth and warn Lord Dohalim. As you can see, though, we haven't gotten very far in that regard. But I'm hoping that's about to change, now you're here.
Which is all thanks to your faithful feline servant.
It was a shot in the dark, but fortunately you recognized her for what she was, and Zare accomplished her mission with flying colors.
So what's our plan of attack, boss?
One of the Lord's routine inspections of the city. It's the only time commoners can talk to him face to face. That's the idea, anyway. His security is bound to be on high alert, but with you lot along, it's the best chance we're going to get to approach him.
All right, we're in. But I have to know, how do you keep going with all you've been through? How have you not given up hope?
Hey, someone has to fight for the future of the Dahnans here.
The future?
Lord Dohalim may be a wonderful person, but in the end, he's still a lord like any other. And lords can be replaced. Once the current contest is over, the next lord of Elde Menancia will take over. Then it'll be back to square one for all of us. That's why it's imperative Lord Dohalim sees the light.
You really believe Dohalim is going to stick his neck out for a Dahnan like you?
Is it so impossible to imagine? Everything begins with a simple leap of faith.
Right. Huh? Uh-huh. Can't sleep?
And you?
I woke up randomly and couldn't fall back asleep. I'll go back to bed once I get tired again.
How's your shoulder?
Huh? My shoulder? Oh, you mean where Dohalim smacked me? It feels a little off, but... it's fine. I'll manage.
Doesn't look like it's gotten much better. I'll give you some more healing. That should do the trick.
Hey, yeah, you're right. That feels much better. Thanks, Xion.
I've been thinking about what happened, and I was out of line. I know it takes more than a couple of bullets to bring down a lord.
Forget about it. It's fine now. We all got out of there safe, and now you've healed me up too. We're going to take down all the lords. That was the promise we made, right?
Yeah, I guess. But there was one other thing I wanted to ask you. Back at the palace, Law said you took that hit because you were worried about me. What was it you were worried about?
That's kinda hard to explain.
Just tell me.
Well, for one, if we lost you, I wouldn't be able to use the blazing sword anymore.
Obviously.
But more important than that, I guess I just couldn't let you die. Honestly, I think that's all there is to it.
There you go saying stuff like that again. You never learn, do you? But...
Anyway, it's necessary so we can fulfill our promise, right?
Right. Glad you remember that much.
You okay? Anyway, I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Sleep well. What am I doing?
I sent Kisara back to town under the cover of night.
You do realize that she was searching for you all this time, right?
I wonder why. She never could let things go, ever since we were kids. Maybe she was keeping an eye on you all because she thought you might cause trouble. I wouldn't be surprised.
Do we need to be worried about her? She could easily report us.
Even if we could have kept her here, it would have just raised more suspicion. Besides, I want to believe in her.
More leaps of faith, huh?
Once we make our move, I'll send Zare to come fetch you again. Until then, stay close and try not to wander off too far.
Guess we're waiting on word from Miguel for the time being.
Let's go out somewhere then. Twiddling my thumbs isn't my style.
I know he said it's necessary, but are we sure Miguel's plan is a good idea?
I mean, just because we came expecting a fight doesn't mean we have to have one.
If Miguel is right about Dohalim, we may have no reason to fight. Dohalim may have found a way to build a future where Dahnans and Renans can live alongside each other in peace.
Yeah, I guess that may be true, but I'm still not sure about this. I just can't bring myself to trust a Renan. I really don't understand what's going through Miguel's head. And as for him and Kisara...
He said they were siblings, right? But things seemed kinda awkward between them. I was an only child, so I never had to deal with that kind of stuff.
Is their situation really that different from ours?
I mean, I guess not, but...
The reality is that we don't know what's true and what isn't about Menancia yet. Until we know that for sure, let's not pass judgment one way or another, okay?
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough, I guess.
So let me ask you something, Rinwell. Hootle and Miguel's cat are both animals native to Dahna, right?
Right. And Zoogles definitely aren't.
Well, duh. Those things are too hideous to be from here. Not that owls are any better.
Hmm?
No! I take it back! I love owls! Owls are the best! I swear!
Hoodle's pretty cute, I'll admit. But I've also been rather partial to cats, too. What about you, Shion?
Huh? Who? Me? Well, I guess... I like them both. Nothing. I didn't say anything. Either way, the more I think about it, I've never heard of anyone keeping Zeugles as pets.
Is it because Renans only use them for practical purposes?
Yeah, that could be the reason. They were originally created to serve as beasts of burden, so to speak.
Hey, can you guys quit standing around and get him to leave me alone? I'm begging you! What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Finally. If only we could have... flown with the wind to get here. Faster.
I hate camping out.
Is that the Zeugle we're looking for? That's no ordinary enemy I see over there.
Go no further!
Talon Hurricane! Megasonic Fly!
Glacial Spear.
Pierce evil!
Talon Hurricane!
Freeze Lancer.
If they rush you, you gotta jump for cover, okay?
I'm on it! Talon Doom!
Pull it together, Law.
Sorry, Rice. I'm calm.
I'm on a roll now! Swallow Dance! You're mine! Rip and tear!
All good things come to an end. Come and get it!
Talon Hurricane!
Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
Right, next one! Our next turn!
Already on!
Where are you going?
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Rip and tear! Eagle Fly! Rising Wiper! First Strike!
Sweep
I'm on a
down!
roll now!
Take this!
Now you see what I can do!
First Strike!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Swallow that kick!
Swallow Dance!
You're finished! I'll finish you here and now!
Lightning orb!
Glimmer Dragon!
It was nice while it
Here, let me
lasted.
help with the
This
Dahna
one's all
and Rena.
mine! Rising Falcon! Burn in hell! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Rip and tear!
Leave the enemy's arc to me!
No complaints here! There you go!
You're mine!
Here's a heal!
Hurricane!
First aid!
So much for sitting this fight out.
That wouldn't be a complaint.
No, that'd be silly.
Rising Wiper!
Ready!
Eagle Fly!
Healing circle!
I owe you one.
Dance in the wind!
Glimmer
We can
Dragon!
roll now.
This one's mine! Dragon Shout!
Rip and tear! Dragon Shout! I'm on it! What's this? Anything in armor is all mine!
Here, let me help. Feel.
Talon Hurricane! Double Demon Fang! Rip and tear! Glimmer Blade! On a roll now!
It's over.
Rising Weapon! Hurricane! Rising Demon Burn!
It's weakened.
Glimmer Dragon! This ends now!
I never miss. In here. And stay down. I'll be crazy.
Come on, a roll now! Rising Weapon! Glimmer Dragon! Come on! All in! Eat this! It was nice while it lasted. Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! Double Demon Fang! First strike!
In here.
I've let you all down.
You'll pay for that!
I'll bring you back some
Win!
energy.
Shut up!
Air thrust.
Not done yet!
Light astral energy.
Try this! This one's all mine! Hurricane! Not today! Glimmer Dragon!
Lightning orb.
Dragon
Move.
Shadow!
Radiant
Finish
Sting.
this! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Talon Hurricane! Rising
Lightning
Viper!
orb.
Rip and tear! Now I'm in the groove! That's enough!
Glacial spear.
Double Demon Fang! Talon Hurricane!
All good things come to an end.
Lightning orb.
Rip and tear!
I really owe you one.
Sword Rain Helpen!
Sleep now.
I'm on it!
I'll end you. Anything in armor is all mine.
The enemy is going all out.
Rip and tear! This one's mine!
Go get him. Here's a healing light.
Why'd you heal me?
Here comes something big!
Try to dodge in the wind. Air, take faster. It's over. Just what the doctor ordered. Will this help? Dance in the wind. Air thrust.
More of this than I'll burn out! Talon Hurricane!
Searing flame.
What a radiant swarm! Watch it! Dragon Shout! Glimmer Dragon! Eat this! Talon Blade!
More for the SubParGuys.
Talon Hurricane! Rising
Here's
Weapon!
the evil one more time.
Not now!
Freeze
Not
laser.
now!
Dance in the wind. Air thrust. Here's a healing
Double
arm.
Demon Fang!
Dance in the
Talon
wind.
Hurricane!
Here. Don't mind if I do.
Atomic Thrust!
this?
Demon
Eagle
Fang!
Fly. All right.
Dragon
Here,
Shout! Rising
There
Weapon!
you go. Don't let up.
Here! Ignite!
I can carve through armor. I'm just getting
Darn!
Laser
Hurricane!
spear.
Demon
Laser
Fang!
field.
Destruction!
Freeze laser.
Strike! Dragon Shout!
Falling behind.
Looks like this one's mine!
Vitality.
Rip and tear! Rising Weapon! I'll end you! Hurricane First Strike!
It was nice while it lasted.
I'm on Eternal Devastation! Talon Hurricane! This time! Rip and tear! Burn in hell! Glimmer Dragon!
Where are you going?
Rip and tear!
Amazing.
I'm just getting started! Double Demon Fang!
Arch field. Light astral energy.
Double Demon Fang! Talon Hurricane!
Annihilation.
Rip and tear! Demon Fang!
Reload.
Demon Fang!
Confiscated.
Double Demon Fang! This time! Talon Burn in hell!
I'll smash you! All finish you swim well!
Demons descend.
Flashing Fang! Check out these biceps. Pretty glorious, right?
Why are guys so... obsessed with their muscle?
All right. Right.
I think Poodle senses something.
Mm-hmm.
How's this?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right.
No way.
I don't...
Great!
There it...
Oh.
Whoa! This is bad.
Ah!
Just...
Yeah.
Man, that was amazing! No wonder the old man was so gung-ho about it.
See? What did I tell you?
Shion, you've got sauce on your face.
Looks like we get to sleep with a roof over. Our heads.
I think Hoodle senses something.
Oh, good. There you are.
You people again. You shouldn't be loitering around here. Don't force me to arrest you.
Think we've established you couldn't even if you wanted to.
What?
Law, quit it. We're not here to argue with you, Captain. We've got something to deliver to you. Here.
That's... That bracelet. Is that my brother's? Why are you giving this to me? I can't help but wonder what my brother is planning with all this.
I'm not sure. That said, I think he was being sincere about everything he told us back there. I've met a lot of good people fighting to liberate Dahna. And I got the same feeling from Miguel that I did from all of them. I think we can trust him. I think you're a good person too. Otherwise you would report on us and the Gold Dust Cats, right?
What makes you think I won't?
Because Miguel trusts you. And that's enough for me to trust you too.
You're a pretty unusual guy, Alphen. Do you go around acting like that everywhere you liberate people?
What do you mean?
Sorry, forget it. It's nothing.
Okay. Anyway, I think we'll find out more about what Miguel's planning soon enough. All we can do now is wait and see what happens.
I guess so.
I guess we just wait for things to kick off.
Yeah, looks like we'll be staying at the inn another night.
It's Zare!
Hold on. She's got something tied to her collar.
Oh, she left.
It happens tomorrow. They want us to meet in that underground quarry.
Then we should prepare while we still can. We'll spend the night here at the inn again. Well, this is it.
Yeah. What angle is the Lord gonna take?
That depends on Miguel. Let's hurry to the quarry.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hootle?
Next petition! Step forward!
My lord, please hear my humble request.
Who goes there? Halt! Is that Miguel? The traitor?
Guards! Don't let them get any closer! His Excellency's life is in grave danger! Kill them all at once!
Wait.
Stay back, Your Excellency. It's too dangerous.
Enough. He cannot harm me. Nor, I think, does he intend to do so. Isn't that right, Miguel?
Indeed it is, Lord Dohalim.
I have heard many a rumor about you, but I suppose we'll have more time for those later. You have made some rather interesting friends.
He has something he wishes to show you. And we are here to make sure he does.
And what could that be?
Please, my lord, you needn't give these miscreants the time of day. I shall personally...
Silence, Kelzelik. I wish to speak with them. Please, you were saying.
It's what's in there, my lord. Have you ever walked all the way through the quarry, my liege? Right to the other side?
Now that you mention it, I don't believe I have. It's a Dahnan medical facility of some kind, is it not?
I think you need to see for yourself, my lord. All I ask is that you witness this before you pass judgment upon me.
Then witness it I shall. Kisara, this man is your brother, correct? I would like to ask that you personally escort me while in there.
I should warn you, what lies ahead is fraught with danger. You should all take care and stay on your guard as we proceed.
Danger? What could be so dangerous about it? It's a regular workplace, isn't it?
You'll see. Please, I ask only that you trust me.
Sounds like you all need to rethink your medical facilities around here. Hospitals are supposed to be safe.
Quite. Kisara, let's see what they have to show us, shall we?
As you wish, my lord.
Your strength is appreciated. With you, we can all breathe a little easier.
I didn't realize you held my strength in such high regard.
I meant what I said before. Anyone who tries to fight you will have a hard time of it. How long have you been wielding that enormous shield?
Ever since my first job as a guardsman. Our duty was to stop any attack dead in its tracks, then take all that momentum and turn it right around to smash the attacker.
But why bother blocking in the first place? Wouldn't it be better to just dodge the attack and hit back immediately?
Try doing that when you've got someone standing behind you that you need to protect. This shield is a symbol of our conviction as guardsmen. Every time we successfully block an attack, our fighting spirit only grows stronger.
So what you're saying is that, unlike Law, you can actually take a hit.
I'm right here!
This area right here is where the real heart of darkness used to lie in Menancia. It wasn't unusual for the holes we dug in this earth to become our graves, and for the stones we mined to serve as our tombstones.
That's right. I can remember it so clearly. I remember how the adults used to describe this place, like it was setting foot in the gaping maw of a monster. But anyway, that's all history now.
It is. All the bloodstains on the rocks, the still air, the constant stench of death. We're very lucky that it's all in the distant past. The smell of sweat and debris still hangs in the air, but at least now the Dahnans of Menancia can live with joy in their hearts. And it's you that we have to thank for this, Lord Dohalim. We would never have come so far if it wasn't for you.
Magal, why bring all of this up now? What exactly is the point?
I just wanted to remind us. I think it's important that we remember how precious the rights we enjoy under his lordship's grace truly are.
But I still don't get why...
You'll understand soon enough. For now, I simply want you to keep what I've said in mind as we continue our journey.
It's teeming with Zeugles. Are they kept here as some kind of deterrent?
Not that I know of. This is where the spirit vessel is housed, so it's no place for beasts. What's going on? Where are all the laborers?
You're the only one who doesn't seem in the least bit surprised. Perhaps you'd care to enlighten us?
All in due course, my lord. But first, just a little bit further. Once we reach our destination, everything will become clear soon enough.
Fine. As you wish.
I noticed your shield just appears out of nowhere whenever you need to use it, just like Shion and her gun.
Does it use the same Renan transferal technology too? Don't you need astral energy in order to use that?
You do. Obviously, I can't cast arts myself, but I'm equipped with a device that has the necessary energy charged into it. As long as I'm using the device, I can call forth my shield whenever I like.
Equipment charged with astral energy isn't all that rare.
So basically, there's nothing special about Renan technology that prevents Dahnans from using it?
No. But as you might expect, normally they'd never be given any of it in the first place.
It's not as if just anybody gets to have it here. You need to earn Lord Dohalim's trust before you're allowed access to it.
What makes you so sure he's not bribing you?
Rinwell.
I'm just being honest. It's not normal.
I can understand why you'd be skeptical. However, Elde Menancia truly has transformed and evolved from the sort of realm it once was.
Yes, she's right. And that's exactly why
Miguel?
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll explain more once we arrive at our destination.
Wow.
If you're being charged, give me a shout.
Right. Thanks for the help.
Eagle side! This one's side! The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Hurricane! Turn over the weak point. Eagle! I'll finish you here and now. Tiger blade! Eagle side!
All good things come to an end.
Talon hurricane! That's it! Rip and tear! Tiger blade! Eagle Dome! Now leave the glory for me! Good shot! I'll stop this charge!
Thanks, Kitara.
Denied! Hurricane! Rip and tear! Watch this! Far enough! Go on! Rip and tear! Denied! Glimmer Dragon! Eagle Dive! Good shot! Luna Corona! Take this! Tiger Blade!
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Make it break! Denied! Eagle Dive! Tiger Hurricane! Take this! Make it break! Roll now! Luna Corruption! See what happened there as you crossed me. Sword Rain out! Far enough! Glimmer Dragon! Here I go! Eagle! Watch this! Talon Hurricane!
It's weakened!
Make it break!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
All right.
I didn't know you could use arts like that.
Yeah, but still, what's with that smoke and these Zoogles around here?
Pow! Hurricane! Here's Evil! Eagle Dive!
They may look cute and stuff, but they're big.
Fine breathing! This one's mine!
Zia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Rip and tear! I'm on! Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Dragon! I'm gone!
Rising Watcher! Rising Phoenix!
Getting started!
Everybody okay?
We're all right, Alphen.
How long have they been mining this place out?
Since before I was born. Or so they tell me. Probably for decades.
That long? I'm impressed the place has never caved in during all that time.
This one's tough!
I can carve through armor! Going in! Talon Hurricane!
Be still!
Eagle! I'll finish you here!
You have to aim for the gray area on their back. You won't get away with that.
Eagle!
Go for the weak point.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield is for. Get behind me.
Leave it to you!
Tiger Blade!
Freeze Lancer.
This one's all mine!
This one's mine!
Eat dirt!
Talon Hurricane!
Here goes.
Double demon
Going in!
Constantine.
Do it! Yukara! I'll stop your movement! And I'll stop your life!
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
Man, I hope I live long enough to regret this.
Going in! Watch it! Dragon Shout!
Be careful, everyone! This one isn't normal!
Come on, roll now! This one's mine! You're going!
Shut him down. Anything in armor is all on guard. Commander of Heaven. Phoenix Cyclone. Ribbon's too slow. Ribbon tear. Eagle power. Roll now.
I never miss.
Don't get complacent.
Tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing. Tiger Blade! Hit! Ready! Eagle Fly! Hit a word! Tiger Blade! I'll heal you now!
This one's mine!
Talon Hurricane! Healing Circle! Bolero! Do it! Get it frozen! Hammer! Anything in the world is all mine!
Finish it!
Rip and well! Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
I need to be stronger.
What's this thing?
This place is a lot more complicated than I expected. Is this the right way?
Yeah. You'll find some met...
We're in for a long slog with this one. Tiger Blade! It's a duel here!
You see what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
Tiger Blade!
Swallow dance!
Not on my watch!
Roll now!
Tiger Blade! Lightning! Downfall!
Finish it!
Shion! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! You're wide open!
You picked the wrong fight!
Look sharp!
I'm out of ammo!
Swallow dance!
I'm on top. Where are you going?
Finish it!
Anything in armor! Astral energy!
Say no more.
I feel sprightlier than before.
Are you on alert for your brother? You needn't worry so much. He's not the type of man to act rashly.
Right.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out. Now you see what I can do. This one's mine. Watch this.
ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
I'm just getting started!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough!
Shaolin Hurricane! Eagle Drive! Arch Seal! Tiger Blade! Annihilate! Annihilate! Roll now! Take this! Glimmer Tiger Blade!
Will this go for the weak point?
I'll end you! Raining Meteor! Shaolin Hurricane! Get toasty! Bird Strike!
You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be, in this world.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
Looks like we've arrived.
This is the way to the medical facility, right?
You'll see. Let's keep going.
So there really is an underground lake here. Tell me, where is the medical facility?
It's not here. In fact, it never even existed in the first place.
But I've seen people carried in here with my own eyes. Where could they have all gone?
The answer is right in front of you. You need but open your eyes.
What do you mean?
Are you trying to say that they all drowned in this lake?
No. They're just what you see before you. What's left when matter ceases to be matter. Perhaps the scale is throwing you off. Let me show you what I'm getting at.
What?
No way. It can't be.
So then, this entire lake is...
Yes. All this is the hollowing.
I still don't follow, Miguel. What happened to your hand? And what is this hollowing you speak of?
This is what I wanted to show you, my lord. When a life form's drained of its astral energy, its physical form breaks down completely, a death leaving no physical remains. All that's left is a reflective substance, the only proof that matter once existed at all. That hollowing is the substance that fills this lake.
This whole lake. How many people? How many Dahnans?
You actually expect me to believe all that? That an astral arts illiterate Dahnan would know of this unseen atrocity? And that I, a Renan lord, would have no knowledge?
I have one last piece of evidence, Lord Dohalim. This is a fruit of Helgen, the cause of all of this.
What are you doing, Miguel?
Here is your proof, my lord. Proof of the bounds of your knowledge.
proof of the countless Dahnan deaths under your watch. No, they were not merely deaths. Those Dahnans were completely erased. And now, the only testament is that lake of hollowing.
Miguel!
Someone close to you is behind all of this. This person is amassing huge amounts of astral energy. You have to stop them. You're the only one who can prevent Menancia from returning to the living hell that it was once before. I beg you, for the future of the utopia you have created, please stop them. Don't let your dream die just as it's become a reality.
Wait a minute, I don't know if I...
Miguel! Miguel! Miguel!
Forgive me, Kisara. I'm sorry. It was the only way I could open his eyes. I didn't have much time left anyway. Please, help our Lord Dohalim to make our greatest dream a reality.
Miguel! Miguel!
Stop! Stop! That voice! Make it stop!
What is this? His master core is going berserk!
Miguel! Miguel!
I know all you want to do, but we need your help. We've got to get him under control.
Damn! If he wasn't already strong enough!
Pray forgive me this, my lord.
Time to play!
Eat dirt!
That rock is huge!
Watch out, everyone!
This one's strong! Going in!
Watch this! Watch it! Watch it!
This one's strong!
I can carve through armor!
This one's strong!
Dragon Swarm!
Tiger Blade! Hurricane!
Flame of fury!
Burning! I'm on it!
Right!
Shot!
You're mine!
Here I go!
Lightning Thrust! Rising Hurricane!
Tiger Blade! Rip and tear! Here I go!
Going in! This one's all mine! Not today!
Annihilation! Crescent moon! Ready!
That freaking does it!
This one's mine!
Rising Wyvern! Double Demon Blade! Rising Wyvern!
This one's mine! Crescent moon!
Going in!
Take it!
I'm not done!
Watch it! That freaking does it!
Dragon Swarm!
Get up!
I'm only getting started!
Charge attack!
Nothing gets through me. This I swear.
Look shot! Now I'm in the groove! Tiger Blade! Take Look shot! That frickin' does it! Look shot! One more! Tiger Blade! Double Demon Fang! Oh, this one's mine! Look shot! Tiger Blade! Look shot! Double Demon Fang!
No further.
He stopped moving! Get it now!
Please forgive me.
Double Demon Fang! That's enough!
You picked the wrong fight!
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Look shot! Tiger Blade! Let me see what I can do! Here!
Now!
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life! Tiger Blade! What's this?
Who's going in? Will this help? I'm gone.
It's still hit.
Come on. You have one more.
That frickin' does it!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Going in.
Talon Hurricane!
Look shot.
Glimmer Dragon!
I'm gone.
And now I'm in Tiger Blade! Now I'm in the groove! I'm gone!
Nothing gets by me. Far enough.
Rising Wind!
Talon
Hurricane!
Knocked it in!
Flaming Meteor!
I can only
Demon Fang!
Laser Spear. Here's the evil.
Here we go!
I never miss!
Here I come! Talon Hurricane! Rising Wyvern!
Glacial Spear. Here's the evil.
Tiger Blade! You're all finished here and now! Radiant off my focus!
I'm out of ammo!
That freaking does it!
This one is mine.
Rising Tiger Blade! Glimmer Dragon!
Only getting
One more! Tiger Blade! Rising I'm on it! Talon Hurricane! Swallow Blade!
I've let you all down.
Stay away from my friend!
Their arts were interrupted.
Where's the evil?
I'm Gavarna.
Eat dirt!
Glimmer Dragon!
I'm gone.
Eagle Dive! Take it! That freaking does it! Sonic Blast! Look shot!
Look shot.
Attack!
I never miss!
Tiger Blade! Glimmer Dragon! Eagle Dive!
Radiant
I'm just getting started! Let me see what I can do! Tiger Blade! Glimmer Dragon! Take Bolero! Dragon Swarm!
Glacial Spear. Here's the evil.
That freaking does it! Tiger Blade! Glimmer Dragon! Come on! Hurricane! Tiger Blade! I'm on a roll now!
This one's mine!
Punch it left.
Tiger Blade! Glimmer Dragon!
Mega Ray.
I'm on a roll now! Sword Rain Alpha! That freaking does it!
I'm out of ammo!
Tiger Blade!
This one's mine.
all right? What was that just now? I understand this is a lot for you to take in, but Miguel trusted you.
Impossible. I have no such power. Truth be told, I never wanted this. I never wanted to be a lord. However, competing for a position in the crown contest was required of me, and in the process, I took the life of a dear friend. The life I took and the bloodshed, the hatred that it earned me. It was far more than I could ever bear. But the screams and tears of the slaves, they would reawaken my memories of that day. The memories of my friend's scream and the tears of the one who mourned him. I couldn't take it any longer. I didn't want to remember.
So that's it? That's the real reason you freed the Dahnans? Just so you wouldn't have to listen to their screams?
Wait. So everything you've done...
Precisely. It was simply to distance myself from all the pain and death, all for my own selfish ends. And if it made everyone happy in the process, well, then that was just an added benefit. Or perhaps I truly did believe in those ideals at one point. But living up to them was never my aim.
Impossible. Your dream of coexistence? The ideals that you always championed? So you're saying that everything you stood for? You're saying it was all just a self-obsessed lie? Tell me it isn't true, Lord Dohalim. Because my brother believed in you in your dream!
Forgive me.
So this is who you really are?
Stop!
Let go! Let me go! Let me go!
It's enough, Kisara!
Let go!
Stop!
I'll tear him apart! I swear I'll...
Are you trying to ignore your brother's dying wish? He entrusted you with his dream!
Just kill me. I'm nothing. I am but a shell of a man now. I'm just a pitiful coward who shrank from his duties. I would only ask that you make it quick.
This man... This is the person my brother died for. And for what? For what? I need you to get out of my sight right now. Go, before I change my mind!
Are you feeling any better?
Yeah, a little. Thanks.
What are we gonna do now?
I still have unfinished business with Dohalim.
He's a world away from the Lord Balsef was. There's no need for us to fight him, Xion.
In case you've forgotten,
Guys! I think something's going on outside.
Kisara! There you are!
What's hahpening?
Kelzelik has started an insurrection. He's driving all of the Dahnans out of the palace.
What? Has he lost his mind? What about Lord Dohalim?
We don't know where he is, Captain. We thought maybe you would.
No, I don't. I haven't seen him since we were inside the quarry.
Damn. Well, either way, I wouldn't go near the palace. Any suspected Renan sympathizers are being arrested on sight. This whole thing is a powder keg about to explode. Best prepare for the worst.
I guess not all of the Renans here like the idea of coexisting with the Dahnans after all.
So this is it. This is the real Menancia.
Are you giving up?
On what? This realm is already finished. It perished along with my brother's dream.
That's a shame. And I guess all the people who believed in that dream are on their own out there, aren't they? Not all of the Renans sided with Kelzelik. There's still hope, Kisara. Your brother's dream is only dead when there's nobody left who believes in it. Am I wrong?
You're right. I'm going to the palace. I need to see what's happening there with my own eyes. What are you all doing?
I thought it was pretty clear. We're coming with you.
I appreciate the thought, really. But there's no need for you all to get involved in this.
Dohalim said it himself, right? All of us. We're liberators.
Thank you.
Will things be okay in the city?
I'm concerned about that as well. But for now... let us get to the palace.
Right. We'd best clamp down on things at the source before they get out of control.
The fact the enemy's holding themselves up tells me they're not exactly happy to see us.
Then we'd better go in prepared for whatever welcome we get. I thought we'd see fighting throughout the city. But it's dead quiet.
Either Dohalim's allies have been arrested, or they're keeping a low profile.
Meaning the
We have to stop Sir Kelzelik.
Don't you think it's about time you dropped the sir?
He always treated us Dahnans with such warmth and kindness. Did he have such bad intentions all along? I just can't bring myself to believe it.
Forget about intentions. We should assume he's the one who's behind all these incidents. It's not surprising to me that there are Renans in Menancia who resent Dohalim, but I didn't expect one would be so close to him.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I guess all of us here in Menancia are still some way off from being a truly united realm, aren't we?
Are you going to be okay, Kisara?
I don't know, but I definitely don't want things to end like this. Please, lend me your strength.
Of course. Anyone who tries to oppress others is our enemy, and we'll gladly stand against them. Besides, I want to believe that this realm really can do better too.
This place is awfully quiet for a siege palace.
Such a huge place is spooky without all those people here.
They're probably waiting to ambush us.
With so few Renans here, I guess this is what it's like when the Dahnans are expelled and the ruling minority are all that's left. My money's on them using Zeugles to even the odds.
I don't even see any Dahnan guardsmen.
The fact that they're not at their stations tells me they really have been driven out. We all swore an oath of loyalty to Lord Dohalim. My fellow guards wouldn't abandon their post lightly.
Speaking of which, where the heck is he?
How could this be happening?
Any idea where we should go in the main building?
Let's try the Lord's chamber.
Worth a shot.
Hey Law, you can bust that wall open, can't you?
Kisara, do you have any idea just what Kelzelik might be planning at the palace?
It's hard to say. I've never seen him use any powerful arts, and I don't think he's particularly skilled with any weapons either. However, I have noticed him accompanied by something strange from time to time.
What kind of strange?
I don't know. I couldn't see anything with him, but I could sense something was there. Probably some sort of Zeugle.
An invisible Zeugle?
We'd better be careful in any case. I'd rather we not find out after it jumps us and tries to rip our throats out.
Out of my way!
I see one, eh?
It's over! Coward Hurricane! Did you see this coming? Piercing roar!
You
think that's real, baby?
Oh, my lord!
Blind freaks! Why can't they just sit still?
Seal, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done!
Eagle Fly! Meteor! Talon Hurricane! Now you see what I can do! Talon Hurricane!
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Make it rain!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! You're wide open! Eagle Fly! It'll split it open!
Be my guest!
Dragon Shout! Dragon! Eagle Fly! Do it! Goodwill! Demon's Descent! Flashing Bang!
I won't rest until I'm the best I can be.
Still striving?
No backing down!
No!
Eagle Fly! That's it! Quiver Dragon! A showdown between blade and fist!
You got spirit!
I'll finish you here and now!
Eat this!
I'll smash you! Quiver Dragon! You're wide open! I'll finish you here and now! Finger shot! Eat this!
Rising Wyvern!
Solid Hurricane! This one's mine! Radiant here! You're done!
Take this!
Talon Hurricane!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
I can feel my power growing!
I think this is a key to the noble room of the castle.
A noble what?
The room at the northern end of this floor. Maybe the release mechanism is in there.
You know, the more I think about it, this palace is way too big for its own good.
Tell me about it.
Plus, where the hell were these...
Get lost!
Rising Wyvern!
Eagle! Now I'm in the groove!
Watch
for the ranged attack!
I see one, eh? We're not ready!
Eagle Fly!
It's almost too strong.
Be my guest!
Rip and tear! Eagle Fly! Dragon on a roll now!
Alpha! Ready, Miss him! Eagle's Fire! Ridwell! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
An opponent like this should be easy.
Rip it to Eagle Drive! I'll read your moves like a book! I'll finish you here and now! This one's
It's almost too strong.
Put it open!
Be my guest.
Do it! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Rising
Eagle
Warrior!
Drive! I'll finish you here and now! Eagle Drive!
Do it!
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone!
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Out of my way!
Bring him down!
You picked the wrong fight.
I can carve through armor! My deal!
I'm the true gunslinger around here. Where are you going?
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone! Too slow! Eagle I'll finish you here and denied!
That's my cue!
You picked the wrong. Shut him down.
Another one down!
This one's mine!
Flaming Throw!
This one's mine!
Glacial Steel!
I'm ready for the next battle!
This'll make us even more formidable.
Bring him down! Glimmer Dragon! I'm
going in! I see what Be my guest!
Make it rain!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Seems about right to me.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Eat dirt!
While it's reeling!
Take it down!
So much for topping it out! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
All right. There are enemy forces here, too?
They must be predicting our movements and deploying accordingly.
So they figured we were coming all along, is that it?
You picked the wrong fight!
Bombardment! Your dreams!
Glimmer Fire Support! Tiger Blade! Tiger Blade!
I will... Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Faster! I'm just getting started! Faithful Arrow!
Finish it! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
You've got spirit!
This one's mine!
They really don't give up, do they?
Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone! Rhythmic Tear! One more! Going in! Soaring Light Spear!
I need to be stronger.
Is that some kind of note the rebels left?
Hey, it mentions the release mechanism we're looking for, but
this isn't enough to go on.
Gotta break through! Engaging! You picked the wrong fight! Rhythmic Tear! Fires the horse! I'll punch that gun out of your hand!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life! You're wide open! Solid Hurricane! Watch him! Glimmer Dragon! Eagle Dive! That's a juggling win!
I feel sprightlier than before. Look, another note from the rebels.
if we combine it with the note we found before, then there should be a key inside a cabinet in the office.
Great. Let's see if we can find it. Even if Dahnans and Renans aren't on completely equal footing here, both sides still cared about each other. And now we have to fight some of those same Renans inside the palace.
Don't forget, we're here fighting to keep what makes this realm so special alive. Don't lose hope, Kisara.
Be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Now you'll learn.
Double Phoenix Blade. Tiger Blade. Watch this.
Take down their defenses.
This one's low.
You're mine.
Burn in hell.
Tiger Blade.
It's almost too strong. You. Split it open.
Be my guest.
Kisara.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life.
Here's a healing
Too slow. Glimmer Dragon. Eagle Dive.
Glacier Freeze Lancer!
There's always room for improvement.
Did that finally get rid of the wall?
To think they would hide it in Lord Dohalim's personal quarters. The nerve of these people.
They won't get away with it for much longer.
That's right. We have to hurry to the Lord's chamber. Let's go.
Well, well, if it isn't the slaves and the traitor. I don't remember giving you permission to enter the palace.
So it's true. You really are the one behind all this, Kelzelik.
I don't remember giving you permission to speak either. Know your place, slave.
Now we see his true colors.
Yeah, a despicable excuse for a human being. Though really, I guess that makes him pretty ordinary, huh?
Kelzelik, you were Lord Dohalim's most trusted advisor. His closest ally. Why would you betray him?
Don't be a fool. I didn't serve him because I wanted to. I expect a mere slave wouldn't know, but there are many powerful contenders for the position of Lord. A contest of strength determines the one who will be Lord and undisputed ruler of a realm. There is no choice in the selection. If my master had any ambitions of becoming the sovereign, I would have gladly served him.
But he had no intention of fighting for the crown.
Indeed. Can you slaves even imagine how that looked to the rest of us? Enduring the whims of an ambitionless lord, all we could do was wait for the end as we suffered through our humiliation.
You want suffering? Try being Dahnan for a day.
So you plotted against Lord Dohalim in secret. And when my brother found out...
And I would do it all again if it meant returning Menancia to its rightful state! A realm where Dahnans are slaves and Renans their masters. It's the natural order.
Enough! Who are you to decide what is natural or rightful, traitor? Miguel, my brother, he dreamed of building a world free of suffering. He gave his life for that dream. And all you've managed to build is a lake of death! You killed my brother. And now you'll die for it! Because of you!
Why should I concern myself with the passing of one pathetic slave?
Have you no shame?
Reload! Careful! He has some kind of camouflage! Ready! Go for the weak point!
Watch this! Burn! Take Bolero! Eagle Fly!
This one's mine!
I'm on it! That's it! It's over!
Tiger Blade! Lunar Corruption!
Mirage! Rip it! I'm on a roll now! That's enough! Tiger Blade! Talon Hurricane!
Glacial Spear! Pierce Evil!
Eat this! Rising Weather! Eat this!
Oh,
Anything in armor is all mine!
It vanished again?
Listen carefully and keep your eyes peeled.
Talon Hurricane!
Should do it!
I'll smash you!
Tiger
Blade!
Here I come! Not today!
Talon Hurricane!
Glacial Spear! Pierce Evil!
Take this!
Dragon Shower! Eagle Fly! First Strike! Tiger Blade!
Mega Sonic Thrust! Dragon Swarm!
Talon Hurricane!
It's weakened!
Tiger Blade! What you do? I'm on it!
I'm all pumped up!
Eat this!
Tiger Blade!
Flaming Thrust!
Oh,
Rising
Lunar
Blast!
Blast!
Flaming Meteor! Take this! Talon Hurricane!
Look shot!
Ripid Care! Eagle Fly!
You're off!
I'm on it! I'll end you!
Look shot!
That's it! I'm on Tiger
Don't feel so hot.
You just sit this one out.
And miss all the fun. No way.
Take this! You're mine! I'll finish you off! You're done! I'm on it!
This should do it!
Will this help? Anything in order is all mine! Healing circle! Going in! That's it! Come on! Talon Hurricane! Do it! Shion! Get toasty! Bird strike!
I'll cover you. An outstanding
I'm on it! Flaming thrust! Now you see what I can do! Going in!
You're finished!
Talon Hurricane! Tiger Blade! Healing circle!
reinforcements incoming. Not a problem.
Piercing down! Ripid tear! Sword rain I'm on it! Blew away!
Radiant spear!
With hurricane!
It's gonna attack!
Right, one down.
Far enough! Ripid tear! Eagle fly!
By the
Talon hurricane!
Ignite!
Ripid tear! I'm just getting started!
I'm out of ammo.
Watch and sword rain alpha! You're done! Talon hurricane! Eagle! I'll finish you here and now! Eat this! I'll run you away! First Eagle! Talon hurricane! Try this! Glimmer dragon!
ready.
Dragon shell! Eagle sound! I'm on it! I'll end you! First strike! I can carve through armor!
Who wants this one's mine?
Tiger blade hurricane! Be still!
Gemini onward!
Nothing gets right here!
Back into the fray!
Talon hurricane! You're mine! Glimmer dragon! Dragon shell!
Lunar corruption!
I'm on
Lunar
it!
blast!
I'll run you through! You shouldn't have messed with me! Swallow dance! Glimmer dragon! Ripid tear!
Here, let me help.
Dragon shell! I'm gone! Talon almost there!
Oh, close enough. Take it away, Ron.
I thought you'd never ask.
An astral arts?
That's my cue.
Tiger blade!
Shut him down.
Watch it! Ripid tear! I'm gone! Dragon shell! One more! Tiger blade! I really owe you one. Anything in armor is all mine! Crescent moon! Infernal torrent! Tiger blade! Glimmer blade! Watch this!
That move!
Too slow!
Here comes a big one!
Talon hurricane! All good
Denied.
things come to an end.
Let the
Look
monk
sharp.
handle this.
One more! Tiger blade! Hurricane! Eagle blade!
Sword rain alpha! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down.
You picked the wrong
Eagle,
fight!
I'm just getting
I owe you
started!
one.
Glimmer dragon!
You're
I'm
mine!
on it! Lost my focus!
You're mine! Sword rain alpha!
Ripid tear!
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
You filthy slaves are despicable!
Your dreams of attaining lordship are no more. Give up, Kelzelik.
Attaining lordship? Ridiculous. Only those who possess a master core can become a lord. What, did you think just anyone could do it?
But then, what were you trying to accomplish with this? Didn't you betray your lord?
Yes, that's true. However, there are other lords.
Other lords? So you mean...
At last, the truth is revealed.
Dohalim, where have you been this whole time?
Cleaning up. Kelzelik, you've made your last of these.
The fruit of Helgen?
It can't be. You found my production facility?
Correct. And I tore it down. But something still troubles me. It's clear that this is no ordinary fruit. Nor was the equipment used to grow it. You couldn't have done all this without outside assistance. Indeed. Something like this must have come from another realm. Tsar, perhaps?
You actually expect me to talk now? At this point, the contest for the crown will be over soon enough, and you will finally receive the punishment you deserve for your weakness.
I've already received my punishment. May this be my final act as the Lord of Elde Menancia. Go. To Mahag Sar, Ganeth Haros, wherever you think you'll find a suitable lord.
Are you all right with this? He killed your brother after all.
He did. But then I thought, he's nothing more than one common, ordinary Renan. He's not worthy of my time or my anger, right?
So after everything, was the dream of coexisting just a dream?
What is that?
Those are the cheers of the brave Dahnans who overpowered Kelzelik's forces.
Wait, they challenged the Renans?
Indeed. A militia made up of Dahnan guardsmen, Renan supporters, and of course, the Gold Dust Cats.
Do we have you to thank for bringing them all together?
Regardless of what your original motivations were, your dream of coexistence saved countless lives. And now, those people out there are fighting to keep that dream alive. That's something real.
Be that as it may, they do so now by their own hands. These people no longer need any lord.
Where are you going?
To put an end to the crown contest. So long as its madness persists, peace will remain ever out of reach. I cannot allow it to continue.
The crown contest impacts far more than just the Dahnans. You're choosing to fight Lenegis and the entire Empire.
I am well aware. However, if I wish to keep this dream from dying, then I have little choice in the matter. Besides, it's the least I can do.
So you're gonna go out there and make that dream real on your own?
You may be decided on your path, but that doesn't make it any less difficult.
Why not walk that road with us?
Pardon?
You heard me. We're fighting to liberate the Dahnans. You're fighting for the people of this realm. I'd say we're on the same path, really. It would only make sense for us to walk it together.
Dahnan dissidents, side by side with a Renan lord? Not the least intriguing invitation I've received. An invitation which would only be proper courtesy for me to accept.
I'll take that as a yes.
Hey, where'd Kisara go? I don't see her anywhere.
Maybe she just needed some time alone. A lot's happened.
That makes sense. She did just lose her brother after all.
We ought to keep moving as well. So long as there are lords who draw breath, we have a mission to complete. Kisara's a big girl. I'm sure she can handle herself. We should hurry on ahead to our next destination.
I guess you're right. And it is a lot safer here than it was. What do you think, Dohalim?
I am not sure I have the right to say anything as far as Kisara is concerned.
Fair enough. Well, I, for one, would like to say goodbye if we get a chance. Let's keep an eye out for her as we leave.
What's Kisara going to do now?
I'm sure it's complicated for her.
This flavor, why, it rivals the cooking of my own chefs in the palace.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle? Where did Kisara run off to?
You don't think she took off after Kelzelik, do you?
No. Miguel entrusted her with his dream. She wouldn't do something reckless like that. Right now, I think she just needs time to think. What she does from here on out is up to her. She has to be the one to decide.
You all arrived here from Cislodia, yes? In that case, you should depart via the south gate, rather than the one you arrived through.
After all that, Kisara never came back to see us.
I'm surprised she slipped away without us noticing. Where would she even go? I hope this place survives. You think the Dahnans and Renans have a chance of getting along? We didn't really do much to change things around here, did we?
This realm had its own walls to overcome. And in the end, it was the people themselves who decided to break them down, without any help from us. I hope they keep going, I really do.
Yeah, well, if you say so, I guess. Huh?
All right. I leave command of the Gold Dust Cats in your hands.
You've got nothing to worry about, Kisara. I'll do your brother proud.
Looks like it's time to go. Take good care of Zare for me. All right, Legil?
You've got it. Stay safe, Kisara.
Did you come to say goodbye?
Actually, I was wondering if you could use another companion.
Huh?
Well, we certainly don't mind you coming along. We just figured you'd stay behind and help rebuild. These people could use you.
I thought much the same thing. However, in the end, something changed my mind. Ever since Miguel died, I've been thinking a lot. About where I went wrong, what I should have done differently. You know, that sort of thing. It's true that our dream of coexistence saved many Dahnan lives, but we were naive and short-sighted. I was so wrapped up in my idea of how things should be that I didn't see the problems that existed right in front of us. I thought we had been given a utopia, and so I never bothered to look too far past its surface. I chose to be ignorant. And because of that, because of me, my brother...
Miguel's death wasn't your fault, Kisara.
Perhaps you're right. But in the end, it was me he entrusted this dream to. I learned that nothing in this life is free, or gained without sacrifice. Now that I know that, I'll just have to figure out what else I don't know.
So, decided to join us?
I have. And hopefully I can continue to protect Elde Menancia from outside the dream world, for the sake of those still inside.
And here I thought you joined for an opportunity on my life.
In all honesty, I'm grateful to you. I truly am. I don't blame you for what happened. But I must also leave your service. No longer will I be defined by protecting a Renan lord. From now on, when I fight to protect my dream. All I ask is that you do your part, that you fight alongside me, not just for those who used to believe in your dream, but for those that still do. Dohalim.
I understand. I'm no longer a lord anyway.
Well, this crew just gets bigger and bigger. All right, where to, team?
We make for Mahag Sar, the Valley of the Four Winds.